Competency-Based Learning, a research-based educational initiative. This presentation is by Stacy Donald in Partial Fulfillment for Education EDU 730 course. Competency-based learning in education is a research-based educational initiative that can be implemented at a school district level and has been around for decades. So competency-based education is a flexible educational program that offers self-paced learning and allows students to demonstrate their skill and understanding in course subjects at their own pace. For example, according to Marzano, a school that has incorporated some competency-based practices for students, a student who has excelled in math in high school and has finished their high school math sequence may continue mathematics while still in high school by taking a college level course. Most school districts still operate under time-based Carnegie units, which tends to allow students to improve grades through participation instead of mastery. In other words, a D- is considered passing and will allow a student to move forward even though the student may not fully understand the concepts learned in the subject matter. Students in the traditional model of education typically graduate at age 18. However, in competency-based learning, a student could potentially graduate earlier. The traditional model has been in place since the early 1800s, and according to public schools, usually include 50-minute classes that are instructor-led and text-driven. Ultimately, the traditional model allows for students to move forward with substandard grades because grades are not based on mastery or competencies within the subject areas. Grades could be based on handing in homework or other factors that are not assessing the student's understanding of the content. Additionally, if students are happy with what is determined to be a passing grade, many students are not motivated to try harder because their grade is, well, good enough. Competency-based learning allows for clear learning objectives that become a personalized experience for students. The learning objectives are measurable and transferable and will ultimately empower students in their own learning to become more student-driven and more of a participant in their own learning journey. Competency-based learning provides a flexible environment that allows students to progress at their own learning pace and empowers student learning. It also creates a personalized learning experience that is customized and supports student engagement. Additionally, the learning content is based on the student's needs and interest and will provide assessments that are more meaningful to the student and will be able to clearly measure the mastery that the student has made in that subject area. New Hampshire was able to provide accountability data for the school districts who participated in a competency-based education program led by the state. And according to Commissioner Berry, the pilot program demonstrated improvement that met or exceeded expectations and achievement level benchmarks. These results for the 2015-16 school year in the state of New Hampshire for all grades, when compared with the previous year's statewide assessment, indicates a 3% increase in both English language arts and in mathematics. Competency-based education initiatives are aligned to Level 5 of the High Reliability Standards according to Marzano. There are three leading indicators for Level 5's competency-based education system, which are 1. Students move on to the next level of the curriculum for any subject area only after they have demonstrated competence at the previous level. Number 2. The school schedule is designed to accommodate students moving at a pace appropriate to their situation and needs. And 3. Students who have demonstrated competency levels greater than those articulated in a system are afforded immediate opportunities to begin work on advanced content and or career paths of interest. The Commissioner of Education for the state of New Hampshire, as well as school leaders, were not only able to begin integrating competency-based education at a state level using Marzano's leading indicators that support Level 5's high reliability status, but were also able to use the data from the pilot program to demonstrate success. The pilot program provided data from both state and national assessments that were ultimately used to evaluate student performance and used to gauge the success of the competency-based learning initiative that took place in that state. In order to successfully implement and monitor a plan that would change traditional elements into a competency-based learning environment, school leaders will need to turn away from traditional methods and begin embracing student-driven and learning elements. Competency-based learning will allow school districts to build on a system that is student-driven and allows students to demonstrate their learning through authentic application of knowledge and skills by developing a clear educational approach that includes effective communication and creating timelines that are adequate to allow the educational shift toward competency-based learning to be effective. In order to implement a strong program, leaders must provide clear communication. According to Sullivan and Downey, ineffective communication will lead to both resistance to change and dissatisfaction within the program. Additionally, creating timelines that are adequate to allow for the educational shift toward competency-based learning is vital. Administrators will be able to have the time to fully engage in both the implementation and monitoring of the program in order to provide the needed support to both faculty and staff without being pulled away to other pressing responsibilities. Also, instructional staff will need time to participate in training and professional development opportunities. With that being said, leaders, administrators, instructors, and staff will need to understand the benefits and the time it will take to implement a strong competency-based learning program. The leadership skills that are required to implement a competency-based education program are communication skills, time management skills, a deep understanding of the program, and the ability to create partnerships with employees, students, parents, and the community. Additionally, leaders should provide a clear vision and purpose when developing the program in order to appeal to a diverse population of stakeholders. Ultimately, leaders will face a variety of challenges that will require a multi-layered approach that will allow all stakeholders to find reasons to be committed to a competency-based learning approach in their school district. The references include the following. I would like to end with this quote. Remember, education is fluid, remarkable journey, and in the words of Oliver Wendell Holmes, Jr., a man's mind stretched by new ideas may never return to its original dimensions. Thank you for taking the time to view my presentation.